Hello dear learners, welcome back to my channel Literary Voice, and today we'll be discussing the first lesson from your Flamingo, that is the last lesson, and it is written by Alphonse Daudet, a French writer, right? Now, if you look at this chapter, the story is set in the background of Franco-Prussian War, right? And I'll just give you in a gist what the chapter is all about, right? I'll discuss about the characters, right? I'll discuss about the theme and one or more, important aspects of the chapter that we have to know, we should know. So let us begin. Now, this particular lesson is not populated with many characters, right? So the main character that we have here in this particular story, the lesson is M.Hamel. Remember, M.Hamel is the main character, you can say, right? And he has dedicated 40 years of his service. Remember, 40 long years. Okay, he has dedicated his service in the district of Alsace. He is a primary teacher, remember, okay, because this is often asked in the examination, right? To write in brief about M.Hamel or the character, sketch of M.Hamel. So you got to remember these points that M.Hamel is a very, very honest man, remember. He's a very strict teacher, okay. And apart from that, you can also say he's a person, okay, who loves his country, who loves his language for that matter. So another important character that we have is of a student by the name Franz, and he is not at all interested in learning, okay. In fact, he is a student who wants to enjoy being outside the classroom, okay. And this is also mentioned in the very outset in the chapter. Now, villages, okay. Villages are very, very important characters. Why we can say is that because they also play a pivotal role in enhancing the theme, okay. Now, specifically talking, what is the theme of of this particular lesson, that is the last lesson? Theme we can say is linguistic chauvinism. Linguistic chauvinism. Now, what do you mean by this term, linguistic chauvinism? Linguistic chauvinism means an aggressive or unreasonable belief that your language is the best language in the world. Now, in this globalized world, this kind of concept is not at all acceptable, remember. We cannot say that our language is the best language, okay. Our language is the best language and other languages that are there, they're nothing. We cannot say that, isn't it? Because remember, each and every language is unique and rich in its own way. So we got to respect that. And we cannot say that my language is the best language. Now, here, I like to, also talk about the function of, a language. So when I say what is the main function of language, the answer is very obvious, isn't it? To communicate, to express our ideas. But remember, apart from this, language also has a very, very significant role in providing, you know, us with our identity, remember. So, language, though it's a main, it's a main tool or its main function is to communicate and express ourselves. But apart from that, it also gives us a sense of identity, remember. So, when Germans, they captured this, parts of Alsace and Lorraine. What they did, the first thing that they did was like they started imposing their language. That is the reason why the chapter is named as the last lesson. Why? Because from the next day, Germans were to be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. So that is why we can relate this with our title, that is the last lesson. Now, what are other sub themes that we can, discuss and analyze? Linguistic chauvinism is one of it, but apart from this, we have teacher-student relationship, okay, that we see between Franz and M.Hamel. Also, we can see students' attitude, sorry, towards learning. Like Franz is not interested in learning, okay, studying for that matter. So these are the things, okay, which are uh, found echoing in this particular lesson, that is the last lesson. And you cannot deny the fact, the main character M.Hamel is a person who loves his country and his language. That is why he, kind of says that the French language is the most beautiful language, most beautiful and logical language in the world. And according to M. Hamel, if they are to be, free again, if they are to gain freedom from the clutches of the Germans, then they have to protect their language. So, according to him, language can unify them, okay, unify the French people, and they can achieve freedom if they remain united, right? So he is a person who loves his country, we can say that, and also his language. Now, apart from this, I don't think there is anything else to be discussed. Linguistic chauvinism we have discussed already. Please remember the term; it's very important. Then it also shows, war is never a good thing. Remember, okay, war is an ugly thing, and all this is reflected in the story. How the private individual lives of people of Alsace and Lorraine were, you know, shattered, you can say that. Or the far-reaching consequences of the war was that, now French was not to be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. Only German was to be taught. Okay? So these are the, some important aspects of this particular chapter. And yes, if you have any queries regarding it, you can always comment down, okay, in the comment box. So we can discuss. I'll be more than happy to answer your queries and difficulties. Apart from this, I don't think there are any uh, aspects that needs to be discussed. Yeah, one thing. Now villages. I talked about villages as one of the major characters in the play. I mean the story. So there might be a question which says, why were the villagers, uh, sitting in the classroom? Obviously, the answer is very easy. They were sitting there because it was the last French class. They wanted to thank M. Hamel for his 40 years of long service, you know. So you got to remember the presence of villagers, okay, was just to, be thankful, to show, or to showcase their gratitude towards the teacher, that is M. Hamel. So that was the reason why they were there. And uh, remember, the pattern has changed. Okay, a lot of MCQs will be there, that is multiple choice questions. But having said that, okay, having said that, you have to understand, you have to have an idea of what the chapter is about. Okay, so you have to know certain aspects, then only you can be you know well prepared for attempting the MCQs in the examination, right? So I guess many of you have not noticed this. Who was packing upstairs when M. Hamel was teaching downstairs, I mean in the class? This might be asked in the MCQ as an MCQ. So it was his sister that was packing up, okay, stuffs upstairs. Okay, it was his sister that was doing the packing because for the next day they were to leave. Okay, and what does M. Hamel write on the board? Very important term, Viva la France. That means long live France. So yes, if you have any queries, please comment down below and happy learning.